Hello, and you're very welcome to another interview here on Sportsview Plus. And as you know, the National Football and Hurling leagues are well in progress at this stage. And to have on the line, we have John O'Carroll who will go through Division 4 in both the hurling and the football national leagues, and also how Cork are doing. So hello, John, how are you? Are you well?
I'm not too bad, Aidan, and yourself?
Not too bad, no, not too bad, yeah. So as I said there, the National Hurling and Football leagues are well underway. So what are your thoughts? We'll start off with the football. There.
I think we can start off with the football, and obviously the National Football League in Division 4. I think when you look at how the Division 4 is going this year, it's very tight. In most games there's very little, between the two teams. There's always a point here and there. Obviously at the start of the year, I predicted, it's very surprising that with Leitrim being one of the top teams up there at the moment in Division 4, and you have to look at how Terry Hyland, over his position as Leitrim manager, and the way he set out his team, his Leitrim team with a new youth and in vision. He has them playing a set style of play. He has them playing like the Leitrim of old, with the likes of Ryan O'Rourke, who's been very impressive. Like, obviously I didn't predict Leitrim at all to be up there within the top contenders. I predicted with the likes of Derry and Wexford. So obviously Division 4 it's very tight at the moment. Like, it will probably go down to the final weekend of who could get the top two spots, but at this moment in time I can honestly see that it is going to be a shootout between Derry and Leitrim. Like, those are the two main teams that are on form at the moment, but it's still anyone's game at the moment.
But I suppose out of the two of them there, I suppose, in the last 5 or 10 years, I suppose Derry, they've gone from Division 1 where they were years ago, we say, when they won the All-Ireland and that, and I suppose even, when they got to the All-Ireland final in 98, they've spiralled down, and went from Division 1 right down to Division 4. But I suppose the way they're going and the way Leitrim are going, you'd have to say, even though Leitrim are having a great season so far in the league, would you say that Derry will be probably the favourites to go up, or it's two that go up from Division 4, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the top two teams that will go up to Division 4, but they will also contest, the league final. Given probably, on form, you probably might want to back, Leitrim, but probably going based on experience, you'd probably maybe say that Derry could probably, end up winning out the league, but it's still anyone's to call. It's still anyone's to call, because you still have the likes of Wicklow, and you have Wexford there in the mix, and anything could still change within the last 4 weeks that are still left to go within the league.
That's it, and I suppose it's great to see the way Leitrim have improved. I know they're in Division 4. It's kind of, they wouldn't be up against the stronger counties or that. But I suppose it's still great to see them, and it'll be great preparation for them for the championship as well.
Of course, definitely, because obviously the league is there as a platform. It's there to test out the waters. It's there to test out the teams. It's there to, sort out whatever tweaks and necessary changes are there. It gives, a chance for players young and old, new and experienced, to come in and express their playing troops to the manager and see how they can impress. Obviously, the league is there as a platform in terms of championship. Obviously, not many people would take the league serious. As me, from a personal perspective, as a coach myself, I always take the league serious, because the league is there to set you going forward for the championship. Because if you can have a good positive performance within the league, it can set you up nicely going looking forward to the summer at the head of the championship.
That's it, and I suppose the great thing about the league is it gives managers and it gives players a chance, like, the players that would be normally kind of fringe players, it gives them a chance to state their claim possibly for the championship panel as well, and it also gives them a chance. It's also a warm up, and it gives a chance a guide for the coaches to see how the form is with the players and all that. And of course, I know a lot of people put preference on the championship as opposed to the league, but it is a key important competition in the season, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously, because when you look at the league structure, especially in Division 4, it's very tight this year. So, and obviously, given the nature of how the games are going, competition, for places is on the rise. And obviously, for any player that does get to have that game time, it has maybe about those last 15 minutes to impress, those last 10 minutes to impress the manager. It will come the championship season, because it is very critical of how well you play, because maybe one injury to a player within the league might dampen the whole team. But if you have a player that that can fit in a role for maybe a crucial player, maybe it mightn't look as so bad as it was.
And I suppose looking at the teams, I suppose London, well, I know it's going back a good few seasons, but remember the year that they got to the kind of final, no one would have tipped them that year. So it's like I said to Tommy Dowling, and another man I use regularly on Sportsview on the radio. We were kind of saying that maybe, at that stage, because they were doing so well and they did well to get to the kind of final that year, that they would have kicked on. But I suppose in London, due to the how spread out it is, and the clubs, how spread out the clubs are and all that, and the players for getting to training and all that, it's very hard for them to kind of sustain good performances in the league and the championship.
Oh, it is definitely, obviously, for London, because you can, given the basis around, and obviously I think what makes, the G very unique is that we're kind of, limited to resources. Like the players we have are the kind of, the players we have. Obviously for London, I expected them, maybe to push on from last year's league, because they finished third within the league, and they were only about 2 points short of making the league final. And I was expecting them maybe to push that step forward and probably even win the league out, or maybe gain promotion up to Division 3. I'm a bit surprised of London how they have gone this year, but obviously, their win against Wexford there last weekend couldn't have come more at a crucial time, as coming into the half-time break, with a kind of a 2-week break before they go back. So hopefully that might be the
Bluetooth ready to pair.
Yeah. Hello?
Bluetooth connected.
Yeah. Hello?
Bluetooth ready to pair. Bluetooth connected.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, yeah, sorry about that, yeah. So that's with London. So, what do you think of their form so far this year in the league?
In terms of other performances,
yeah.
When you look at, I think when you look at the likes of Derry, I think they've been, very impressive this year. In terms of Wicklow, they're another good, strong contingent team that will be thereabouts. Wexford, obviously they were a team that you would expect to progress on, given, last season's campaign. Obviously relegated from Division 3 down to the lowest league. You'd expect, Wexford to push on, but surprisingly they haven't pushed on. But Wexford do have some key players like Jonathan Dealin and all of those, with Wicklow, you have Mark Jackson, probably one of the unformed keepers at the moment. He's scoring points from great angles and all this, especially from the 45s. I think, obviously, with this year's league and all the other teams, it's very close to call, but at the moment, I can honestly see it being a complete shootout between Derry and Leitrim. It's going to come down to those two teams more than likely, but I wouldn't be so surprised if one of the other teams manages to pick them. You just don't know what could happen.
That's it, and I suppose looking ahead to this weekend, it's the football is back again after a weekend off. What are your thoughts on this weekend's matches in Division 4?
It all depends on on how well they used the week off, or how well, training is going, and how well they're doing with their club matches. Obviously, this weekend is going to probably provide. This weekend coming forward is probably going to provide the penultimate test, for all the teams, and it will probably give us a good. Probably by the end of this weekend, it's more than likely it's going to more or less shape the bottom line from the top and to the bottom of the division of what two teams are more than likely going to be in the league final, and what two teams will probably be in the bottom. I think this year in the league, that since that there is no relegation, is that there is pressure off the teams this year, so they're not really too worried about that compared to other seasons where they would be worried when relegation was there.
Right, so and just to finish off on the National Football League in the Division 4, you're kind of tipping Derry and Leitrim for the league final in Division 4. So I suppose we move on to Cork hurling and football. I suppose contrasting fortunes, I suppose, for the footballers and the hurlers. The hurlers going well. They had a very good win against Clare on Saturday night in Páirc Uí Rinn.
Yeah, obviously, definitely. I think, obviously since Cork's defeat back to Clare in the 2013, obviously, as I was saying, since Cork last lost to Clare was back in the 2013 All-Ireland hurling final. They have not lost a match to Clare since in either league or championship. Obviously, probably Cork and Clare is probably one of those teams where you can more or less predict that Cork could come out, winning. But obviously with Cork hurling, at the moment, they do have players that are good enough, that are worthy to wear the jersey, with the likes of Horgan, Hannity, Conor Lehan, but still at those moments, we still don't have those necessary key players that could change the game within those last 5-10 minutes. If you look at it, at last year's All-Ireland semi-final against Limerick brought on the likes of Shane Downing, who was able to change the games. Obviously, you look at Cork, going for a third Munster title in a row come the championship, but still they're towards the end of the season. They just don't seem to have those necessary key players, to finish out those games, and that is a bit worrying for Cork at the moment. And
of course, that will be key as well going into the championship, won't it? Like as regards preparations, they need to have they need to be. Because I suppose the championship is a lot higher level too, so they'd want to be, getting sharper coming towards the championship, isn't that it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because obviously, if you look at it, Cork, have been in thereabouts, but they just haven't been able, to finish games. Obviously, there was the defeat to Tipperary in 2014. There was the defeat to Waterford in 2017, and then there was the defeat to Limerick in 2018. If you look at the Limerick defeat, obviously with about 10 minutes to go, Cork were up by 7 points, and you would expect them, to finish out the game. But obviously, Limerick were able to bring in that bit of vision with the likes of Shane Downing and all of those players to change the game. I think Cork need to be more reliant on their bench and bring on players that they know that can change the game, especially in those crucial minutes, that can actually see out the game when they're in positions like this, because Cork should not be relinquishing leads like that, especially if they are going to be serious contenders for the All-Ireland this year.
That's it, and I suppose with the Munster, would it being the round robin series as well, they'll be meeting in that, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes, because usually Clare are kind of come to the fore really in the championship, so that's going to be interesting, but that's a few months away yet. So so it makes for a very interesting couple of matches now for the Cork hurlers to see if they can push on from here.
Yeah, obviously I think Cork still have Cork are going up against Limerick, yes, and Limerick are probably obviously on top. The Limerick easily dispatched Kilkenny there over the weekend, so Limerick are one of the unformed teams at this moment. That the way John Kiley has set up his Limerick team is very impressive. It's like the Limerick team of old, that they're playing free tack in hurling, that the players want to play for the manager, it's very tight to call. Obviously, I don't think the league is too. It's not a worry of much to Cork. I think Cork's main concern would probably be the championship, because with the league for Cork, they're more or less trying to test out players in different positions and see what they can do right and whatever changes they need to make necessary, because come the Munster Championship, because I feel this year's Munster Championship is going to be a lot way more competitive than last year's Munster Championship.
That's it. And I suppose moving away from hurling, moving on to the footballers there, not such a great season in the division for the Cork senior footballers.
No, honestly not. I think there's a serious change, especially in Cork football. If you look at Cork football when they were under the management of Conor Coonahan, going back as far as 2010 when Conor Coonahan was in charge of Cork football, he had them playing tackling football. He had this process about them. He won the trophy every year, whether it be the league, All Ireland, or Munster title. There was always something about Cork football back then. Cork football was great to watch, but obviously now there's something seriously gone wrong with Cork football, and it's not at the same level as it was. Obviously, many people would be hoping, that things might change around Cork football, but at this moment in time, I can't see Cork football, being any good at the moment. There's still a lot of changes that needs to be made to this Cork football team. At the moment, it's just not good enough.
Is it a case that the players just aren't coming through, or is it the development of the players at underage level, or what would you reckon is the cause of it?
I think you have to look at it at both aspects, especially obviously you'd have players that would probably be opting out for both codes. Obviously you'd have players that would be opting out from the football to go play the hurling. You'd have players that would be doing exams. You'd have players out of the country doing this. Obviously I don't think people with Cork football at the moment, I don't think they're just not wearing the jersey with pride anymore. They're not playing the way that Cork football should be playing at this moment in time.
That's it. It's like at odds. It seems to be at odds with one another. The hurlers are doing really well, and the footballers aren't doing that great. But hopefully, maybe I suppose it'll take a few more years for it to balance out. I suppose for the footballers to improve, because they haven't really been making it out of Munster at minor level or under 21 level in the football. So I suppose I suppose that winning mentality, or the players don't know what. As a result, there's players there that don't know what it takes to kind of win All Irelands or do well at when they get up to senior level. So they don't have the players when they get into the senior panel. They don't have that experience or know what it takes to achieve that. So listen, John. I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out to do the interview with us, and we'll probably do another interview with you in another week or two.
Okay, perfect, Aidan. Thanks again.
Much. And that was John Oconnell there, journalist in Cork, and just going through the National Football and Hurling League, in the football and the hurling in Division 4, and also Cork hurling and football.